RNC Deputy Communications Director, Sarah Isgur Flores. Sarah, we welcome you to America's Forum. We apologize for a bit of confusion. The big question politically is this one. We heard the president in full lecture mode yesterday. Does the GOP suffer in the midterms because of the failure in the U.S. Senate to bring the minimum wage up for a vote?
This president is having a Jimmy Carter economy moment. We have the lowest labor participation force since 1978, and yet he's talking about a bill that would kill jobs. They know it would kill jobs. So I guess the question is, why would the White House, why would Harry Reid be pushing a bill right now that they know would cost people their jobs?
And we mentioned earlier, and I think it's worth noting, where policy gives way to politics, Miranda and Sarah, the whole notion that even Democrats, Mark Pryor in that very tough re-election campaign in Arkansas, and the Senate Democrat leader, Harry Reid, were saying, well, you know, maybe it needs to be a lower figure. Why on earth does the president and the majority of Democrats say this figure needs to be $10.10, and that's where it's got to stay?
I'm sure they did some poll that told them that. I don't know. But they've been searching around for a political issue since Obamacare has failed, has cost jobs, has raised healthcare costs. And they've been flailing around looking for one. This is what they've settled on, but it's bizarre. We have 3.7 million people who are looking for work, who have been looking for work for more than 6 months out there. This is going to cost more jobs instead of helping those people find work. What we need are higher paying jobs. We need more of them. And yet you look at something like Keystone, and the president is towing the line of his far left liberal Tom Steyer type donors who want to kill it.
So Sarah, you mentioned, we need higher paying jobs, and JD, you were talking about why are we so fixated on this particular number. Are you saying that you don't think the minimum wage should go up at all, or are you just saying maybe it shouldn't go up to $10.10?
I think a federally government mandated wage isn't the way to go. You see this with Obamacare, where they have a one-size-fits-all solution and then are shocked when it doesn't work around the country. States can have minimum wages. Companies want their workers to have good wages. So I think that there's other ways to do this, but saying that the wage in New York City needs to be the same as in Waco, Texas doesn't make any sense.
So you're saying the power should be left to the states?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Well, it's interesting. I mentioned, Sarah, earlier the name Harry Reid. And of course, as the Senate Democrat leader, the majority leader, Harry Reid sets the calendar in the Senate, what bills will be brought up. When Republicans were able to block the debate and the vote on the minimum wage yesterday, Harry Reid trotted out his rhetorical scapegoats that he tends to pick on all the time. Here is the senator from Nevada. Quote, if Americans are searching for an answer why they would refuse to raise the minimum wage, they should look no further than the Republicans' billionaire benefactors. I repeat, billionaire benefactors, the Koch brothers. Now, Sarah, I don't want to accuse the Senate Democratic leader of ODing on Coke, K-O-C-H, but you offered a name a minute ago, just when we take a look at the aggregate of, quote, billionaires contributing to different political causes. I believe there's some names that appear before the Koch brothers on the list, are there not?
There are. I mean, just this week, Democracy Alliance, which is a fancy name for the far left radical agenda, was held in Chicago. Tom Steyer was there. This is the guy who basically has promised to spend $100 million helping Harry Reid's vulnerable Democrats in exchange for killing Keystone. So I think Democrats are trying to play hide the ball here a little. They're killing jobs on the one hand with Keystone, with refusing to bring up the Republican jobs bills, and then they're paying a lot of lip service. Well, not even that, I guess, just attacking the Koch brothers. I think that's all they've got now.
Well, it's interesting. Let me go to a quote from one of the prominent Republican senators who ideologically and with her body of work in the Senate has reached out on so many occasions for bipartisan cooperation. Senator Susan Collins, Republican of Maine, quote, today's vote is an attempt to score a political point. but it doesn't move us any closer to raising the minimum wage. My focus remains on working together to reach an agreement on a responsible path forward. Now, that's Senator Collins today, and I guess really my question, Sarah, time and again, you mentioned polling on that $10.10 sum that you believed resonated somehow politically. What I found during my days in the House, even in the salad days of the contract with America and the first Republican majority in 40 years, what I discovered was that even with Congress at that point in time being fairly popular, the only real issue the left had and the Democrats had was the minimum wage. And so what I wonder is this: will Republicans maintain their solidarity in terms of staying away from a federally mandated increase in the minimum wage, or will you see some in the Northeast, in the Midwest, in suburban districts in the House, and people like our friend Susan Collins searching for, quote, bipartisan solutions in the Senate? Will we see some capitulation on the part of Republicans for a minimum wage increase sometime before the end of this year?
I think first and foremost, you're going to see Republicans bringing up job creation ideas. That's so important. Again, we have the lowest job participation rate since 1978 under this president, and a government mandated wage. Their own studies say this will kill jobs. 57% of those jobs that it's going to kill, by the way, are women's jobs. So that's a real problem. I think you'll see Republicans really trying to come up with job creation bills like you've seen the House pass again and again. They're sitting on Harry Reid's desk. But a reason that you know that this president isn't serious about this, and Jay Carney got asked this in his press briefing today, what have they done to work with Republicans, or anyone for that matter, in Congress to try to move the ball forward on this? Jay Carney was stumped. He couldn't really come up with an answer of what they've done. He says that they've given some speeches and the president's made some statements, but that's not how you get something through Congress. They're not interested in it. They're interested in winning elections because they know that their Democrats in the Senate are extremely vulnerable. Look at Mark Pryor, who's backing away from this White House faster, and I didn't know someone could back up that fast, without tripping. And they're trying to do anything they can to help them. This is a political ploy and nothing else, I'm sad to say.
So do you think a compromise is actually reachable? I mean, they've been having this battle forever.
This president isn't trying, so we don't know.
What do you think is the most viable option coming from the GOP right now?
I think that having actual job creation ideas, lowering energy costs, 140 bills at this point have passed the House that are sitting on Harry Reid's desk. Keystone. I think you have to come to the table with something that will increase jobs, net increase in jobs. A bill that just kills jobs isn't going to work right now.
Sarah Isgur Flores of the Republican National Committee. We'll leave it there. We thank you for Skyping in with us from Washington, D.C. here on America's Forum. We look forward to our next visit with you real soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, you heard what Sarah had to say. Miranda, it comes down to job creation. Minimum wage at the federal level can actually be a job killer. That's what the studies say. That's what I maintain. What do you say out there? We'd love to hear from you. Why don't you weigh in via Twitter at Newsmax TV, #America's Forum, or of course there's email, our address, connect@newsmaxtv.com, and then there's Facebook, facebook.com/Newsmax. Coming up, the easing of the Fed, dangerous.